Today is Wednesday, Parashat Toledot. We're learning Choklisa. We'll explain some of the Musar today. Today the Musar speaks about the character trait of humility, to be humble. And it says that Hi midah mimidot hanefesh hatova. It's one of the good characteristics of a good soul. And it explains also, Ve'era'u ototea le'evarim. And one can see the signs externally of that humble soul, how they do reflect themselves externally or physically. And it says like it will be recognized through halashon arach, gentle speech, person speaks gently, it's a person who's humble. Also akol namuch, a quiet voice, not one that is very loud. Umoshlo beitzro be'et hakas, and someone who has self-control at times of anger. If he's able to control himself at times of anger, that's a sign of humility. Umi'ut hanekama ha'echolet, and also minimizing vengeance, even though a person is able to take revenge, and a person still doesn't take revenge, that's a sign of humility. Ve'ikara v'isoda shel ha'keni'ah ki keneged haboreh. But the essence and the foundation of this idea of humility is in relation to the Creator, to Hashem. And then he goes on, this Musar, to say that Chayav Adam litnaeg ba bechol ha'et ubechol zeman, that a person has to act that way, to be humble at every time, every moment, and at all times. And it says that sometimes humility comes to a person through one of three different ways, he says. Ha'echad, כשיחלש כוחו מטעונותיו מפני חולאים ומזגים רעים וחושת ההרכבה, he says. There are three ways that a person can become humble. One of them is when a person becomes weak, maybe in older age, because of a certain illness or a weak constitution, and the person then submits himself to his Creator. And because Hashem is Rofeh Hinam, he heals freely. And he's the one who's, Hashem is going to the one to make him recover from his illness or from his weakness. So that's one way that a person will become humble. There's another way. Second way is that if a person suffers some kinds of misfortune, a misfortune for a close friend or a relative, or heaven forbid, if he loses his wealth and he needs help from other people, then that brings humility into him. But the third one is also כשיחשוב כמה חובות עליו מהטובות שעשה עמו בוראו. One thinks how many debts he owes to Hashem for all the goodnesses that Hashem has done with him, and yet he's going to walk stubbornly and in a rebellious way. No, he should become humble. He should do teshuvah. So the idea, as the third way to be humble, is to realize how many good favors, how many goodnesses Hashem does for the person. When a person has realized that he has so much to thank Hashem for, that's the best way to be nichna, to become humble. The other two ways, I suppose, there is some misfortunes, or there is a weakness, or a misfortune that happened, that a person becomes humble. You know, they say, when a person is in danger or at risk, then that brings humility into that person. But the best way is when you realize how many great goodnesses that Hashem does to a person every day. We start with Birkot HaShachar, we start with Modeh Ani Lefanecha, and that will bring humility in the mind of a person towards Hashem, and also humility to have in general as a good character trait. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'amen.